previous puts that I took profits here. Now here's a reasonable place to be taking puts and then putting your stops near the resistance level, right? So let's see. I want to see this happening, or I want to be seeing this happening, right? Otherwise, I will wait to see if this happens before I take puts, right? So there's no need to be forcing a trade, especially at this situation where you see a significant bounce off a buying channel, broke off the previous selling channel, right? So let's see if it goes. Nope. Now you see the problem here, right? So even if the previous red candle, it was still within the buying channel. So don't be trading with candles. You see the red candle, it doesn't mean that it's rejecting, right? Because it's still bouncing off this buying channel, still bouncing off this yellow. And you notice right here, this is why I don't take puts with such a small range here. It's not worth your risk and reward. So wait for rejection. This is what I want to see, right? Possibility of a head and shoulder if we do reject. So no need to be chasing, right? Let's just see if anything like that forms. If not, it doesn't work. No, it doesn't form. It bounces off yellow, right? So you see, this is why you don't chase puts, especially at this level after a significant bounce. So now let's wait for structure. So first structure we want to see is if this buying channel is broken, right? First thing, buying channel, if it's broken. And secondly, do we see some sort of retracement again? That's what I want to be seeing, right? So let's just see if it forms. We'll just carry on. Well, it's carrying on the buying channel. Some rejection here, right? This is where you see the certain rejection that's forming, right? But it's still not clear. Why? Because you don't see any head and shoulder forming here. Now, what sort of head and shoulder do you want to be seeing form? Right here, a possible shoulder formation here. Absolutely possible. Now, don't forget, this was the previous shoulder formation, right? So this is a significant resistance. As I mentioned earlier, right? This is the supply zone that we were anticipating, that the bears will allow the buyers to push us to this range before a possible rejection. So if you're taking calls, if you manage to take some calls here, right? There's a million ways to trade. There's no right and wrong. If you know to take calls here after we broke through the selling channel, that's not a bad trade. But you need to know when to take profits right here, and if it broke out of here, to take profits by this supply zone right here. Still a very good trade if you're taking calls, right? So it's not a bad thing, as long as you are preparing with structure and knowing what to be looking out for. So let's continue, and we see it's starting to consolidate at this level. Now, when it consolidates at this level like this, you need to be seeing whether this is a continuation bear flag. Now, in this case, it's so difficult. I can explain why. This is literally a 0.3 point, 0.4 point move. Now, it's impossible to be ascertaining what sort of structure it is in such a tight chop. So in this case, you cannot be chasing anything. This is just chop, right? This is just a rounding error to many of the big boys. So you cannot be thinking of anything right here until we have clarity on pushing out. So if I were to be waiting for calls, right? Unless I see a very clear pattern, right? And there is some controlled controlled selling here. So this is why there is this green candles here. But it has balanced itself. So you notice, right? Structures still work like that, even in tight range. You see, this is a beautiful controlled setting. And this is a bull flag. This is as simple as it is. It's a bull flag. But this bull flag has balanced out itself within the small tight range here, right? So this is still a valid move. So you want to be taking a 0.4 point trade, you can be doing that here, especially if you're rushing for time. This is the only time you see this happening, right? But otherwise, you cannot be assuming that this will be going up yet. It's not a bull flag, it's just a chop. So what do I want to see from here? I want to see the possibility of a right shoulder forming. Otherwise, if we break out of yellow, remember, I want to be seeing yellow turn into some sort of resistance, because this was previous resistance and we are rejecting the range again. So let's see if any of that forms. Right, not yet. There you go. Now this is what I worry, right? Large red candle, you miss out on the possibility of a head forming. Now let's see if it bounces back to form the head. If not, if you miss the head and shoulders, you're not too worried. Why? Because you may see this possibly happen. So we just have to prepare ahead, but you know that this is a very important level right here. There you go. Going down yellow, then bouncing back off again. So this is why you don't chase, right? You imagine you chase the trade before it closed below yellow. You're just going to get stopped. So 1 minute candles are very, very noisy. So you have to be basing it off all these levels. Don't be taking trades based on candles. And as I mentioned, right, if you miss the trade here, so be it. There will always be certain retracements. And if the retracements doesn't happen, not clear anyway, focus, there will always be clues later to pay attention to. So we get a rejection here again. And this is where you need to be taking your puts, right? So after that red candle, and you see there is a certain top wick here, this is where you need to be taking your puts, because we engulfed this green candle. This is a clear rejection.